Yep.
So we're holding over here Daf Yomi with Aleph.
I've got it in bed in the bottom. I
Bet?
do 2 dots.
Yeah. Avuna. So if you have his chagura, talito, is wrapped around him on his hips, you're allowed to say Kriyat Shema. Tanyan an Yachi Aytat Talito Shel Beged Shel Or V'Shel Sak Chagura Matnav Mutar L'Krot Kriyat Shema. So Rashi says over here, even though Mimatnav L'Mayla Hu Arum Koreh Kriyat Shema, which means Rashi says the chasoto v'natnav l'mata, meaning to say that besides the fact, so you have to cover your the erva. Besides the fact that your heart can't see the erva and your eyes can't see the erva, there's a third issue here. That even if you both, let's say you have a big thing like this big, your heart doesn't see it, your eyes doesn't see it, but your erva is migulah, it's revealed, it's not covered, that's a problem also. So here, if you cover it, it's fine. Rashi says, because you have to cover your heart, because when you stand in front of a king, you have to stand with fear. But Kriyat Shema, you're not speaking to the king. In front of the king, you're speaking to yourself, you're accepting his yoke, but Shemona Esrei is standing before the king, and therefore you need more honor. And Avuna said, Shachach nichnas tefillin beit hakisei. So what do? You're in the beit hakisei and you're wearing tefillin. What do? Quickly, the tefillin shorosh, put your hand on your head and cover them until the person's finished. So the Gemara says, actually, what do you mean? You should just stay there the whole time until he's finished? After the first stage is done, and the person is able to take a break between the first stage and the second stage, at that moment he should exit the battle. So the Gemara says, let him get up immediately. Why is he waiting for the first stage to be over? He should get up and run out. So the Gemara says, the person maybe the person has an urge to relieve himself, and he doesn't. He fights that urge, so it brings the person to a machla. Rashi says amatzeva et hakeres, which bloats the stomach. It's called hidrokan. Silon maybe at adam I think they call it jaundice. The person is urinating and he pushes back and he holds it back. He brings it back into his body. He can get very sick also, and therefore the person doesn't have a chiyuv to run out of the bathroom right away, but he waits till after the first stage. Itmar. Good? Everything clear? Itmar was stated. Okay. So you have tzoa on your basar, but it's covered and there's no smell. Okay? Or your hand is inside a hole, and you stick your hand through the hole into a room that has tzoa. You want to say Kriyat Shema. So you're really not there, but something in your body is there. That's the question. So mutar lekrot kriyat shema. Rav Chisda Amar asur lekrot kriyat shema. So Rav Huna says it's okay. Rav Chisda says asur. My time Rav Chisda. Excuse me. My time Dira Amar Rabba. My time Dira Rav Huna. What's the reason for Rav Huna? Then it's okay. All of the Shema is where you breathe. So it's your nose and your mouth are praising Hashem. Those two things in a person's body have to be separated from Tzoah, from places that are not clean. But if they are, like in this case, right, then of course they can praise Hashem. The fact that another part of his body is not, okay, that part of the body is not going to be praising. Rav Chisda Amar no, asur lekrot kriyat shema. Why? My time Rav Chisda chsiv kol atzmo v'teman Hashem yichamocha. Chisda says, it says all of my bones will say Hashem who is like you, which means when a person prays, he's praying all of his bones. So every one of his limbs and organs have to be in a clean area. So since your hand is not in a clean area, when you say Kriyat Shema, you're saying Kriyat Shema with your hand as well. Therefore, it cannot be in a makom mitunaf. Itmar, it was stated, Reach ra sheyesh lo ikar. Rav Huna Amar, machik dal damot v'koreh Kriyat Shema. Rav Chisda Amar, machik dal damot mimakom shepasak hareach v'koreh Kriyat Shema. Okay, a person there's a reach, a smell, that is still attached, it has a source. Okay? So Rav Huna says, obviously you can't pray not only near the source, but you can't pray by the smell either. So now you have to separate yourself from where? So Rav Huna says from the actual Tzoah. Then you say Kriyat Shema. As long as there's no smell. For example, let's say the smell goes 1 amah. So you go 4 amot away from the item, and you're already 3 amot away from the smell. You're not even close to the smell, so you're fine. But Rav Chisda says no. Wherever the smell reaches, that's as if the Tzoah itself is there. Okay? So therefore, the smell, the item continues to where the smell goes. You have to leave 4, you have to distance of 4 amot from where the smell ends. Chisda Amar, machik dal damot mimakam shepasak hareach v'koreh Kriyat Shema. Hanya kavat Rav Chisda. The Gemara brings a proof to Rav Chisda. Lo yikareh adam Kriyat Shema, lo keneged. Lo yikareh adam Kriyat Shema, lo keneged tzoat adam, lo keneged tzoat klavim, lo keneged tzoat chazir, lo keneged tzoat tanagol. Keneged tzoat adam is because the tzoat of adam is very repulsive. And in this braita, the tzoat klavim and the tzoat chazirim, the dogs, the swine, are also, extremely repulsive, even more than other animals. And the Tanagolim, they're not as bad as the dogs and the swine. But the reason why it's Asur is because we're speaking about, Tosfot says, when they're in the chicken coop. And there's so much waste from the Tanagolim that's very excessively repulsive. Therefore, you may not say Kriyat Shema there either. V'lo kineged ashpa, take out the word tzoat, shereich hara. If it's a very, very smelly garbage, even if there's no waste there, it's also a problem. V'im haya makom gvoa 10 tfachim, o namuch 10 tfachim, and if the place that a person is standing is right next to them, which means he didn't distance himself 4 amot. It's right there. But it's higher 10 tfachim or lower. So now it's in a different domain. That's also okay. So Yoshev b'tzido koreh Kriyat Shema. You can sit right next to it as long as it's 10 amot higher or lower. V'im lav, but if it's not higher or lower, 10 tfachim, machik meloi nav, he has to distance his full view from it. V'chei l'tfilah. Okay? So, just like erva, there's a problem in praying as long as the erva is in front of you. So too, we learn out the chisitat tzeatecha v'haya machanecha kadosh from the pasuk right next to it of the lo yireh b'cha evad davar, that tzoah has the same halachot as erva, and it has to be kimlo enough. Okay? So if it's on the side of you or behind you, all you need is 4 amot. But if it's in front of you, and let's say you can't turn around and make it be behind you for whatever reason, then it's kimlo enough. Okay? And even, but there is one way out, even if it's in front of you, or not in front of you, but even if it's on the side of you or behind you, but within 4 amot. If it's higher than 10 or lower than 10, that's also okay. V'chei l'tfilah, the same halachot apply to tfilah. So that's the beginning of the Braita. Now the last line is the part that is a proof to Rav Chisda. It says reach ra sheyesh likat machik dal ramot mimakom harech v'koreh Kriyat Shema. It says machik dal ramot mimakom harech. So you see, it's a proof to Rav Chisda that you have to remove yourself from where the reach ends. Maravar letil chota kiha matnita ela kiha. Halacha does not follow this Braita. Rather, it follows the following Braita. The Tanya, lo yikra adam kriyat shema lo keneged tzoat adam. So far the same, right? V'lo keneged tzoat chazirim v'lo keneged tzoat tarim bizman shenatan orot letochan. The only time that these two animals' wastes are problem is when you throw in the hides to work the hides, right, to soften them, together with the tzoah, created a very excessively repulsive smell, and then they become problematic. Otherwise, if there's no orot inside of them, they join all the other animals' waste, which are not a problem. Okay? It seems like from this Braita that, I think that's the halacha, that if you find dog waste, which is common now in America, I think you could say Kriyat Shema. As long as it's not mixed in with the orot. But not Tzoat Adam, only Tzoat Klafim. Okay? Chazirim also not a problem. What? Yeah. V'omrim Rav Sheshet. Reach ra she'en lo yikar, mahu. You have a bad smell, like the ear, right? What is the halacha? You have to. Can you say Kriyat Shema there? Just a bad smell that doesn't have a source. I mean, all bad smells originated from some source, probably. But right now, they're detached from that source. So it's just a smell in the air. Look at these mats in the Beit Midrash of Rav. What did they do? The Talmidei Chachamim, they wouldn't really leave. What they did was they had shifts. While these people slept, these people learned next to them. Now, when they slept, they weren't able to control, and they would pass air. So the people that were learning there inevitably had to smell while they were learning. So you see clearly that it's not a problem to say Torah, to learn Torah in front of, while that odor permeates. V'hani mi Torah, says the Gemara. Number one, it's only words of Torah, because if I walk out of the Beit Midrash, I'm really talking to my chavruta, I can't learn Torah. I need to be here learning Torah. I will be Kriyat Shema lo. The Gemara is being machmir and saying, no, Kriyat Shema you have to walk out. Why do you have to say Kriyat Shema here? Walk outside. You're not talking to your friend with chavruta. The divrei Torah nami lo amram, ela de chavrei, avol didei lo. That's only if your friend caused the smell to come, then you're allowed. But if it's your own, then you're not allowed to learn Torah until the smell dissipates. Itmar, so I'll vet. Okay, new question. Till now we had that you're not allowed to say Kriyat Shema in front of, in a place that was mitunaf, because kadosh. Your camp must be holy. Now your camp is not holy where you're situated.
Okay, 25-8.
One.
Yeah.
1, 25, 1.
No, 25-8. 1 or 2, 3, 4.
25-8 too.
Oh. What about if the tzoah is not situated in your place? It's not idle. It's moving. You're standing somewhere, and the tzoah comes within your daled amot, but it's moving away. So is that a problem? Abaye Amar mutar lekrot kriyat shema, Rava Amar asur lekrot kriyat shema. Amar Abaye minami lelo. How do I know that it's not an issue? Tanan in ilchot tuma of tzarat. Hatamei, if the mitzorah, omed tachat ilan, is standing under a tree. The hatahor over. You're tahor and you pass through. Tamei. You're tamei. Why? Because the tumah, the man who was tamei, was standing and not moving under a tree. So now that you passed under that tree, you're tamei because you contracted the tumat ochel under the tree. Tahor omed tachat ilan tamei over. Tahor. If the tahor is standing under the tree and the tamei passes by, he's tahor. Why? Now the tamei is under the tree. The answer is because since the tamei is not standing under the tree, just passing, then the tumah is not able to come out and spread. Because he's not really in the same place, he's not standing there under the tree. That's the proof. And then the Braita says the imamad tamei, but if the tamei stands there, now he's situated in the same place as tahor, and now the imamad then it's tamei. The same halacha applies to a stone who was minuga with tzarat from a home that was tamei, and you're carrying the stone. So if you carry the stone and you stop, then it will spread. But if you carry the stone through and you don't stop, it won't. So you see clearly that the problematic item has to stop in order for it to spread. So that's a very good proof. In the halachot of tzarat specifically, the tumah only spreads when it's permanently situated somewhere. How do we know that? Because it says, Badad yeshev michutz lamachane moshavo. Out of the camp is his settlement, which means that the tumah of the Torah is where he is yeshev, where he's settled. So there the Torah specifically says that he has to settle and not move for it to spread. But that does not pertain to our sugya, says Rabbi. Why? Here, the Torah demands is that the Torah demands a very high standard. Your machane should be kadosh. So now that the tzoah is passing by, your machane right now, I don't whether the tzoah stopped or didn't stop. Right now, your machane is not kadosh. So you can't say kriyat shema. Amar Papa, pi chazik tzoah veret. The mouth of the chazir is like tzoah that's passing by because the mouth always has tzoah on it. So the Gemara says, Pshita, thank you. Tzoah very dummy, thank you, Pshita. Obviously, if it has tzoah on it, his chidush was, even after it bathes in the river, the chazir never cleans itself properly. And therefore, you always have to assume that there's still remnants of tzoah left on its mouth. And therefore, you can't say kriyat shema from it. Amar Yehuda, safek tzoah asura, safek meraglayim mutarim. a safek. So you're not allowed to say Kriya Shema if you have a doubt. However, if you have a doubt about Meraglayim, Mutarim. For some reason, Meraglayim, which we know you're not allowed to say Kriya Shema in front of, but by safek, it's a whole notch down and it's okay. We're not going to explain. Ikadami, others say that Amr Yehuda, even in the Ikadami, I just want you to notice and realize that he's also saying that a safek of Tzoah is worse than a safek of Meraglayim. Just a little bit different. Safek Tzoah bebayit muteret be'ashpa asura. A safek Tzoah in a home, which normally doesn't have Tzoah, that's okay. But be'ashpa, where it's normally found, even though you're not sure if it's there, it's asura. But safek Meraglayim afilu be'ashpa, safek Meraglayim even in a garbage dump, which many times people would urinate there, but you're not sure if this one has it. Nami mutarin, it's also mutar because you have a safek. So samrala ki had Rav Amuna, the Amr Rav Amuna. This must be going like Rav Amuna, because Rav Amuna taught lo asa Torah el keneged amud. The Torah only prohibited meraglayim keneged the amud, keneged the stream of the meraglayim. Once the meraglayim pools on the ground, it's just pools on the ground, and it's not, right now it's not being expelled from his body in a stream. Midoraita, it's mutar to say Kriyat Shema there. How do you know that? Rabbi Yonatan, Rabbi Ktiv. Because there are two psukim, one next to the other. The first pasuk says, Ktiv v'yad tiyadcha michutz ha'machane. V'yatzata sham achutz. Which sounds like all you have to do is go out of the camp in order to relieve yourself. That's it. It doesn't say anything else besides leave the camp. But the next pasuk says, the next pasuk says, don't just leave, cover the Torah. What does that mean? So make up your mind. The first pasuk says, leave, don't go to the bathroom, don't relieve yourself in the machane. Okay, fine. Out of the machane. He did it. The other one says, the next one says, no, go outside and cover the Torah. So do you have to cover or don't you have to cover? So the Gemara says, okay, so how do you reconcile this? Kam gdolim, kam ktanim. Where it says to cover, where's that? Big dolim. But ktanim, you don't have to cover. Alma ktanim lo asar Torah. So you see that ktanim, the Torah never prohibited because if there was a prohibition, why do you have to cover it, like dolim? Because a person might go out and they would speak out of the machaneh Torah. So therefore, don't leave any of the tzoah in the open because people will be speaking Torah here. So cover it. But the Torah did not require that from ktanim. So you see that once it pools and it's just lying there, min ha-Torah, there's no issue in saying Kriyat Shema. Okay? Now, but we do know that you still not allowed to say Kriyat Shema in front of Meir Glenn that's on the floor. So the Gemara says, Hanafu le'ala, even if it would fall on the ground, mutar, but Rabbanan would be gasugo. And the Rabbanan were the ones who made Gzeirah. Because if you already read in front of a pooled Meraglayim, then you read in front of maybe Tzoah that's uncovered or Meraglayim that's even in the stream. So they said, don't even say Kriya Shema there. But v'chi gazibu Rabbanan bevadan, al b'sfekam lo gazur. So they only made the Gzeirah when it was vadai. But if you had a safek, there they were much more lenient, and that's why safek of Meraglayim is mutar. Because the Isur anyways would have been just midrabanan, and therefore they were lenient. So the Gemara says, u'bevadan ad kama. and when you have meraglayim on the floor, how much meraglayim makes an issue? How much? Midrabanan, even if it's not the stream, it's on the floor, it's a problem. How much? So the Gemara says like this. Rabbi Yehuda Bashmul Kozman Shemat Pichin. V'chein Amar Rabbi Bar Chana Amar Rabbi Yochanan Kozman Shemat Pichin. V'chein Amar Uda Kozman Shemat Pichin. As long as they can make something wet, which means if you put your finger on it or put something on it, is it moist enough to wet that item? That's already a problem. Geniva Mishmei de Rav Amar Kozman Shelishuman Mikar. He's much more machmir. He says, even if it can't make anything wet, but you're able to recognize, you trace it. There's still a trace, which means sometimes you see in the ground, it looks like there was some liquid here. You put your finger on it, it's darker. Nothing happens. Your finger's dry. But you see the trace of the neraglayim right there. That's also an issue according to Geniva in the name of Rav. That's much more chamur. Amar Rav Yosef, Sharlei Mara the Geniva. Let Hashem forgive Geniva for being so stringent. Hashtat so Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav. Because if you even saw, right, which is an isur deoraita, kivan shekamu panei mutar, once it gets hardened on the surface, right, it's already mutar meraglayim ibayi. So meraglayim, which is only midrabanan, and they're already dry. What's drier? What's drier? Meraglayim that can't make anything wet, or that has less moisture than the tzo'ah that just hardened on the top, it still has moisture in the middle. So if the tzo'ah, which is the oraita, only needs to be hardened on the top, the panea, and that's already mutar, all the more so if the meraglayim cannot be matpiach, even if the shuman nikar, it should be mutar. So Amalei Abaye, my chazit is samchetaha. Why are you so reliant on this saying of Rabbi Yehuda in the name of Rav? And that's why you're asking questions of Geniva for being so strict. Smochaha, you should really rely on a different member of Rav. The Amar Rav Bar Huna Amar Rav, not Rabbi Yehuda, but Rav Bar Huna said in the name of Rav, something else. Tzo'ah afilu kecheres asura. That the tzo'ah actually is still asur if it's karmu panea, and it's asur even if it's like an earthenware. Okay? So, meaning to say that it's really dry. This is a different member of Rav. And if that would be the case, then it would make sense that meraglayim on the same level would be asur as long as it's rishuman nikar, even if it's not matpiach. Even if it's dry, but I'm able to trace it. The hechi dami tzorach kecheres. And what does that mean, dry like cheres? Amar Rabbi Bar Chana Amar Rabbi Yochanan kozman shezoka ve'eno nefrechet. If you throw it in the air, and it has enough moisture, it's totally dry. But it has enough moisture that if you throw it in the air, it wouldn't crumble in the air. There's still some moisture that's holding it together somewhere inside. That's already a problem. Okay? So therefore, meraglayim would also be a problem. Others say that even more machmir. They say, even if you would throw it and it would fall apart, but it has enough moisture that if you would roll it, if it would be rolled on a surface, it would not fall apart. I mean, even less moisture. Somebody should have learned the opposite, that it's a kula. But Rashi learns a chumrah. Then it's still a problem. So meraglayim is also a problem, even if it's not matpiach, as long as rishuman mikar, as long as you can trace it. Amar Avina havakaim lekamei Rabbi Yehuda midifti. Chazatzo amar li'ayni karma panei lo. So Rabbi Yehuda midifti said that the criteria is, he told me to check if it's karma panei. Ikadam, the others say that hachi amar li'ayni mifle ipaluye. Check to see if it has many cracks. And that would make it mutar already. Many learn that cracks are the same shiur as dry as when you roll it and it breaks. My havala, what is the halacha l'maaseh in regards to tzoah and dry meiraglayim? Meaning, at what point of dryness do we say it's that dry that you're able to say words of kedusha in front of it? Itmar, so we say that tzoah kecheres, hamemer am asura mazuta am muteret. That if it's kecheres, it's a machloket, hamemer am azutra. Amar Ravah hilchetat tzoah kecheres asura meiraglayim kol zman shematnim. The halacha is that tzoah that's dry, but it won't fall apart like cheres in the ear is asura, has enough moisture. Umeraglayim, as long as they're matpichim. Okay? Now, so he's really not equating them. Meaning, meraglayim, he's being even more lenient. Because what is the equation to tzoah? Excuse me, kicheres. That would be even if it's the meraglayim, in the meraglayim world, it would be even if it's dry, but it's just traceable. So he should make that asur, but he doesn't. He says meraglayim has to be matpichim. Why? Because Ravah says in halakha, meraglayim, since it's only b'drabanan, we're going to give it, we're going to have to make it more moist in order to make it asur. Okay, so it has a different system, set of laws than the tzoah. Okay? Made of it. Is there a tissue there? Thank you. Tissue there? Okay. Thank you. Make it. Kumera glan kozman shmat chinas turi. Nivlu yafshu mutarim. Listen to this kasha. Meraglayim, as long as they make things wet, asur. But if they're absorbed in the ground or they dried, right, they evaporate in the sun. Mutarim. Now, what would it mean? Nivlu. My lab, nivlu dumi diavshu. Being absorbed is the same level as. Thank you so much. As the yavshu. Okay? Just like Yavshu, what does Yavshu mean?
Dried out.
Totally dried, evaporated. You don't see anything. So too, when it's absorbed in the ground, it would mean that you can't even trace it. How does Shumanikar? But if it would be traceable, Asur. Afagav the Emat. Even though they don't make anything wet. So we have a proof here that Ravah is wrong. You don't need matpichin as long as you have Rishuman Nikar. So the Gemara says, where'd you get it from? You implied it from the Sefer. Uletamech, Ema Reisha, look at the Reisha. The Reisha says, Chalzman Shumat Richin Udasur. But Rishuman Nikar Shari. The Reisha is mashma only if it makes it wet. So the opposite implication would be derived from there, right? That if only if it makes it wet, but if it doesn't make it wet, even though it's traceable, you see it, it's not a problem. So the Reisha and the Sefer's implications are contradictory. And therefore, you have no idea which one was the one that they meant and which one was just written that way. So you can't derive any conclusive maskana from this braita. The Gemara says, let us say that this point, if it has to be matpiach or rishuman nikar, is actually machloket tari. Because it says, Kli shenishmechu mimenu meiraglayim, asur lekrot kriyat shema kenegdo. A keli that is so repugnant because you always use it for meraglayim. Even if there's no meraglayim, you can't read Kriyat Shema Kenegdo because it's a very putrid keli. Umeraglayim atzman shenishpechu, and meraglayim themselves that spilled. So nivleu ba'aret, nivleu mutar. If they got absorbed in the ground, it's mutar. Lo nivleu asur. Rabbi Yossi Omer kol zman shmat pichin. Rabbi Yossi says no. As long as they're matpiach, that's when they're asur. But if they're drier than that, it's mutar. So what does the Tanakh mean when he says "Mayim nivleu u'mayim lo nivleu" the Kappa Tanakh? Ilem nivleu de emat pichin and lo nivleu de mat pichin. If he means that they make things wet and they don't make things wet, so his criteria is that it has to be matpiach. So what's Rabbi Yossi saying? That's exactly what the Tanakh said. If nivlu and no lo nivlu means matpiach and not matpiach, so Rabbi Yossi said calls man shematpichin, which means nishuman nikar is nothing. Has to be matpiach. That's what the Tanakh said. So obviously the Tanakh, when he said nivlu and lo nivlu, that criteria was not matpiach. What is it? Ela nivlu de ein nishuman nikar, lo nivlu de nishuman nikar. What it means really is it traceable or is it not traceable? As long as it's traceable, it's a problem in the Tanakh. Rabbi Yossi came Rabbi Yossi, and he was being makel. But Rabbi Yossi, the Meimer, Kozman Shmat Pichin, that's it. But Harishuman Nikar, no. So there we have it. We have a machloket Tanaim. The Tanakh says Rishuman Nikar is an issue, and Rabbi Yossi says no. It has to actually be makpiach to be an issue. So the Gemara says that's not a proof. You don't have a proof that is the machloket. That you have machloket Tanaim about this point, because you can say. The kuleyama lo, the kuleyama kozman shmat pichinu dasur. Harishuman nikar shali. Everyone will say that if it's traceable, it's okay, and it's only asur if it's matpiach. So what's the machloket? The halcha mitofeach amenach ta'atfiach ikebenai. They're arguing about how wet it has to make something. Does it have to make something so wet that that item can now make something else wet? That's what the Tanakh is saying. The Tanakh is actually the lenient one. And he's saying it has to be lo nivleu, which means they didn't get absorbed in something. So when they make something wet, it will make that thing wet enough to wet something else. That's how much moisture is left on the ground. That's asur. Rabbi Yossi says, no. As long as they make one thing wet, it's already a problem. But both of them can be in agreement that Rishuman Nikar is mutar. And that's actually the halacha that Rav said before, that it has to be matpiach. Now, how much does it have to be matpiach? Like the Tanakh, matpiach, manas matpiach, or like the Rabbi Yossi, I think the halacha is just matpichin, which means a little bit more machmir than the Tanakh, like Rabbi Yossi. Okay, let's go back to the Mishnah Rabotai. It's a new topic here. The Mishnah said, if he went to the mikveh, it's a time to create Shema right now. If he's able to get out of the mikveh, dry himself, cover himself, say Kriyat Shema before Netzach Hama, you should do that. Okay? If you can't, then you should do it in the water. Okay? Now, what's the rush here? It's only Netzach Hama, Rabotai. Netzach Hama is the beginning of the Zman. Unless you go, when do you have to say Kriyat Shema? Until the third hour, the end of the third hour. So you're sure that's what we posek. Rabbi Eliezer, if you remember on Daf Tet, he said, no, you have only till Netzach Hama. Remember that? It's a very strict shita. So Rabbi in our Mishnah says, if you have time to get out and cover yourself, and say Kriyat Shema, and go to the mikveh for your Balkari, and fine, and then do that and get out. But if not, just do it in the mikveh. What's the rush? So the Gemara says, let us say that our Tana is being sotem, like Rabbi Eliezer, that says you only have to Netzach Hama. So Rabbi is being posek, like Rabbi Eliezer. So the Gemara says, no. Afilu Temer Rabbi Yoshua, V'dilma Kivat Tikin. It means if you want to get the advantage, this special level of Vatikin, okay, Rashi says, is the person who always prays Vatikin. Okay? Maybe some other Rishonim say anybody can do this. Rashi's mashma that everybody else has till the third hour. This is specifically a person who always prays Vatikin. So he should actually do it this way. And he should rush. And if he can't, he should say it in the mikveh. The Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Vatikin hayu gomrin ota im hanetzach. V'im lav yitkaseh b'mayim v'yikra. If not, do it in the water. Ask the Gemara, how can he do it in the water? Which means that he's down in the water, right? Till his face, up to his neck. So now, it's very nice that your eyes can't see, because the water is a chatzitza between your eyes and your erva. It's hard to see your erva through the water, right? Let's say there's a reflection, whatever it is. So now you can't see your erva, but your heart is situated in the same body of water as the erva. So then there should still be, right? Because you're down, so your heart and your erva are in the same body of water. So it should be a problem. So Amar Rabbi Eliezer v'yiteru Rabbi Acha bar Abba bar Acha mishum Rabbeinu b'mayim achurin shelu. We're talking about dirty waters; they are not clear. So therefore, the davar ka'aras michta shelo yired libo evato. So it's like if you're sitting in earth, if you're covered in earth, right? Let's say in sand or in earth, you don't have an issue of libo, even though your heart and your erva are in the same body of earth, right? There's no issue, because at the end of the day, your lave can't see the erva; it's blocked. Same thing here. If the waters were dirty, had a lot of sediment and particles of earth and mud, whatever it is, so therefore the libo is not ro'et ha'erva. Tanu Rabbanan, mayim tztulin yeshev be'en atzav v'lo l'koreh. Yesh omrim ochram b'raglo. The Tanna Kama says, if you're in clear waters, go to your neck. Now you can't see it. Say Kriyat Shema. You're covering yourself. And some say, no. You have to swish around the earth on the bottom of the lake, or wherever it is, the bottom of the mikveh, and the bath, whatever it is, make sure the earth comes up so it's dirty inside the water. So the Gemara says, what does the Tanna Kama say? The Tanna Kama, Vari libo ro'et erva. So the Gemara says, Kasavar libo ro'et erva mutar. That's okay. So the Gemara says like this. He doesn't go for it. He doesn't believe in libo ro'et erva. Okay? The Gemara asks, V'harei akevo ro'et erva. Doesn't his akevo, which means his heel, still see his erva? How can the Tanna Kama allow you to say Kriyat Shema inside the water? Rabotai, why? Because the only thing that sees the erva is the lave, and he doesn't care. So he asks, but the akevo, but your heel can see the erva. So the Gemara answers, Kasavar akevo ro'et erva mutar. The heel that sees the erva is mutar. Now, what was the question? I just told you that he doesn't hold a libo ro'et erva. So why would there be an issue of akevo ro'et erva? That the heel is exposed to the erva. The erva is exposed to the heel. So the way they explain this Rashi is as follows. Rashi says that the heart, you wear a robe, right? The cloak. So the heart usually sees the erva. So the Tanna Kama says, I don't have an issue with libo ro'et erva because that's the way it is. But what about something that normally doesn't see the erva, which is the akevo? So maybe there's a law about items on your limbs of your body that usually your erva is not usually exposed to them, that if now your erva is exposed to them, there's an issue. So the Gemara says, no, there's no issue. There's no issue to that either. Itmar akivoro et erva mutar, but nogea abayim astur v'rava aman mutar. Everybody agrees that there's no issue if your erva is exposed to another part of your body, like the akivo. But if it's touching, it's an issue. Okay? What's the reason? The reason that Abaye says it's asur is a gzeira, that's what it says. Because if a person will say Kriyat Shema when his akivo, when his heel is touching his erva, like say, for example, if he's sitting down and crosses his legs, and his heel could be touching his erva, then he might end up saying Kriyat Shema when his hand is touching his erva, and that can bring to hirhur, and that's asur. Therefore, you shouldn't even do it when your akivo is touching your erva. Rava amar mutar. Rava says it's okay. So now the Gemara brings the machloket in a different way. Rav Zid matir alaha shmait hachi. But the Rav China Rav Reid Rav Ika matir lahachi. He learned the machloket as follows. Nogeya divrei akol asur. Ro'eh, but if you just, the akivo is, the erva is exposed, abaya amar asur, abaya amar mutar. Shlo nitna Torah l'malchei hasheret. Okay? The Torah wasn't given to Malachei Hasheret that don't have an erva. We have an erva. And therefore, it's not possible to be so careful to always say words of Torah and Kriyat Shema in a way that the erva is never exposed to any other part like the akevo. If it's touching, it's asur, but if it's exposed to the akevo, it's mutar. By the way, why is libo an issue? We opposite the libo or whatever is an issue. So many the Shabur brings down that because the leiv is where the Shechina is shoreh. Therefore, the Shechina is there, so it can't be ever exposed to it. Amar Rav Tzoeh ba'ashashit mutar l'krot kriyat shema kinegda. Erva ba'ashashit asur l'krot kriyat shema kinegda. If you have tzoah, the Torah says cover the tzoah. V'chisita et tzeyatecha. Guess what? He did. Okay, very good. But he covered it in a see-through item, like a glass or something like that. So, or a very thin cloth that you're able to see through. So, it's mutar to say Kriyat Shema, even though you can see it, because it's covered. Erva is an issue. Even if it's covered, but if it's see-through, you can't say Kriyat Shema. So the Gemara explains why. So Abasha shit mutar the Kriyat Shema kinegda. You know why? Because what does the Torah want? The Torah says one thing: and you did it. You covered it. Right now, you made a barrier between your domain. It's not in your domain anymore. That's the point. You're separating it from your domain by covering it. Whether the cover is see-through or not, it doesn't bother. But Erva, the issue is the Torah says it depends on seeing what you see, which brings to hirhur. And therefore, if you see it, is the issue, and not only if it's covered. So why do you cover Erva? So that you shouldn't see it. Let's say there's tzoah where you are, but it's very little. You're able to nullify it, to be vatel it with rok, with spit. And you use the spit like as a cover. Has to be thick, the spit. Because otherwise you'll be able to see it and it won't be considered covered. Okay? Now, I thought we just said that you could see tzoah as long as it's covered. That's only by a normal cover, but by saliva, which is not a good cover, it's not considered a cover unless it's very thick and you cannot see the tzoah. Others say that the reason why it has to be so thick is because otherwise you'll still smell it. Okay? And you have to make sure that you only use this heter when you actually spit on it. But after a while, the spit starts thinning out and evaporating. It won't work anymore. If it's tzoah inside a hole in the ground, you could place your foot on it and say Kriyat Shema. That's a great chidush. Even though your whole body is standing on the tzoah, the Rava is saying it's okay. And even though you're covering it with your shoe, and you're going to walk away, right? So the cover is not even a permanent cover. That's also good enough, and you can say Kriyat Shema. It's a two chidushim. What happens if your sandal is covering this hole where this tzoah, but the bottom of the sandal is actually in contact with the tzoah? So now, is it considered that since the sandal is touching the tzoah, the human is touching the tzoah? And we said before that when the human touches the tzoah, it's asur? Or, no, it doesn't matter, because the sandal is separate, and even if it's touching, it's not a problem. Teku, it remained a sheila. If there's a guy, unclothed guy in front of you, you're not allowed to say Kriyat Shema in front of him. Gemara says, "Ma'ir Nachli, I feel Yisrael land." Why a guy? A Jew too. Gemara says, "Yisrael pshita leidasu." El Nachli it's tzricha. A Yisrael, that's pashut. Then it's asur. Why? Because it says, "V'lo yireh b'chai v'atava." But Nachli, there it's a chidush. Ma'u l'tei ma'hoyu l'chtiv v'hu. Hashem esar chavorim b'saram. That their Brit, well, it's not a Brit, they don't have a Brit there, but the aver of our Brit on them, on the goy, is like mamash, like an animal, like a chamor. So maybe aver can chamor ba'almuhu. So when you see the goy's erva, well, you don't see it, but it's in front of you. It's just like standing in front of a chamor. You're allowed to say Kriyat Shema in front of a chamor, right? Chamashma de ilu nami ikru erva. Chidush is, even though it's called chamor, it also has an issue of being an erva. The chtiv, because by Noach, who is not Jewish, it says the ervat avihem lo rachu. So the Torah calls it an erva. V'lo yitkaseh lo b'mayim hara'im v'lo b'mei hamishra ad she'yatilu tochan ma'ayim. The Torah said, the Mishnah said, you're not allowed to cover yourself to say Kriyat Shema in waters which are smelly, bad waters, or other waters that are smelly that you soaked flax in and it has a very, very putrid smell. Until you put water inside. The Kalamaya Rabbi Moshe says, how much water is going to be put in? Are you joking? Says the Gemara. The man is standing in a pool of flax-soaked water, or in a pool of putrid waters. So he should pour water in. How much? He's going to sit there for 2 weeks pouring water, and it won't clean the place out. The Gemara says, no. It's missing words here. El hachikam. Lo yitkaseh l'mayim harim v'lo b'mei mishra klal. At all. You can't do it. Finished. But now it's a new case. Berachot, but urine, which is just a little bit of urine, which is inside a cave. You're not allowed to say Kriyat Shema. So you can't say Kriyat Shema ad sheyatil b'tochan mayim v'yikra, until you throw water in and you read. Then you can read. So meaning to say, you could dilute the berachot, which is in a cup, or in a keli, that you could do. How much? So the first mandama says kalshu. Any little bit. Okay? And why is it like that? Because we know that the isur is only midrabanan. So therefore, the chachamim were very lenient. that you could be mevatel the meraglayim even with a little bit of water. Okay? So, by the way, as long as the meraglayim don't smell, if they smell, then there's isur deoraita. Just like an ashpa that doesn't have any meraglayim, it's a problem. Okay? Talking about meraglayim that don't smell, pouring a little water inside, it already is mevatel. What do you mean? Why is it mevatel? Because it's only isur b'derabana. Okay? Rabbi Zakai omer revi'it. You need a revi'it of water. Now we're going to see that even Rabbi Zakai is good. Watch this. Amar Rav Nachman machloket lebasof. That's only after the meraglayim is there. Aval batchila kol sheni. But if the first thing you're going to put in is the water, and then the meraglayim, then even Rabbi Zakai, which said you need to revi'it to dilute it, he'll be in agreement that you can use any drop, a little bit of water. Now, what's this this rule based on? The rule is based on a rule in Avodah Zarah that's Rishon Batal. Every drop that falls into the water, now when the urine falls in, every single drop becomes Batal. So even if at the end, when you do the math, there's much more water, urine than water, but since every drop that went in became nullified, so now there is no meraglayim. Okay? That's the svara that Rabbi Zakai will be modeh, that if you put the water in first, you don't need a revi'it of water. Okay? Now, the other way around, when you're pouring the water into the meraglayim, you need a revi'it, according to Rabbi Zakai. Rabbi Yosef Amar machloket lechatchila, aval lebasof divrei hakol revi'it. He says, no, the whole machloket is at the beginning, if you need a revi'it. Rabbi Zakai says, even if the water is there at the beginning, aval lebasof divrei hakol revi'it. Everybody says that if you don't have this rule of the tipa is the kol tipa v'tipa, is batel, rishon batel, then everybody's in agreement that if you're pouring the water into the meraglayim, you need revi'it. Amalei Rabbi Yosef l'shamei aiti li revi'it demaya k'Rabbi Zakai. Bring me a revi'it of water like Rabbi Zakai, which means he wanted to pour it into a cup before they used it to pour the urine inside it. Like Rabbi Zakai, that needed a revi'it even at the beginning. That's Rabbi Yosef Shita and Rabbi Zakai. Tanu Rabbanan. Rabbanan taught, Graf Shorei, if you have a earthenware vessel, Shorei, which is made to hold so'ah. Ve'avit shomer raglayim, or a bowl of chamber pot, I think they call it in English, for meraglayim, made out of klicheres, asu lekrot kriyat shema kinekta, ve'af al pi she'en behen klum. Even though there's nothing inside them, and even if they're very nicely washed, and they don't smell like anything, okay? Because since they are designated to have these things inside of them, they're considered a beit hakisei. And this is specifically made out of klicheres. But if the avit or the graf are made out of glass or metal, and if they're washed out, okay, well, then it's not a problem. So it's specifically klicheres that is made for tzoah or avit shomer raglayim of klicheres. They have a halacha of a beit hakisei even if they're clean now and they're washed out. Umer raglayim atzman ad sheyatilu toch hamayim. But urine itself is until you put water in. V'kam yatilu toch hamayim kosher, a little bit. Rabbi Zakai omer revi'it like we had before. Now, this avit shomer raglayim or graf shorei is bein lifnei amita, whether it's in front of the bed and there's no bed being mafsik between you and the graph. Bein la'achar mitah, whether you have a separation with the mitah. If you have a bed separated between you and the graph, it's okay. Okay? So, meaning the machloket is, when is it considered out of your machaneh? So according to Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, it's out of your machaneh if you have a bed separating you. The Tanna Kama says, no, that's not enough. You need to be 4 amot away. And even Rabbi Shimon Gamliel says, the fnei mitah, it's in front of the mitah, so there's no separation between you and this chamber path. Eino koreh, אבל מרחיקו 4 אמות וקורא. רבי שמעון אלעזר אומר, אפילו בית 100 אמה לא יקרא שיוצאים או שיניחם תחת המיטה. You have to either take them out of the home or place them under the bed so they're considered covered. Because one's home, you hear this, Rabbatai? The home is considered 4 amot. Your whole home, it could be 100 amot, but the whole home is 1 4 amot. And therefore you have to get rid of it. Ibaylu, Gemara asked the question. When Rabbi Shimon Gamliel differentiated whether there's a bed in front of you, separating you, or not. Hechi Kamar. Achar Amita Kore Miyad, and Lefnei Amita Machik 4 amot v'koreh, or Dilma Hechi Kamar. La'achar Amita Machik 4 amot v'koreh. Lefnei Amita Eino Koreh Klal. What's he saying? That if the bed is in between, then you're okay. If the bed is not in between, then you have to just go 4 amot away. Or you're saying, if the bed is in between, then you go 4 amot. But if there's no bed in between, he agreed to Reb Shimon ben Elazar. So Tashima, let's bring a proof. The Tanya. Rabbi Shimon Elazar Omer, Achar Amita Koreh Miyad. When they're behind the bed, Koreh Miyad. Lefnei Amita Machik 4 amot. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel Omer, Afilu Bayit 100 Amah Lo Yikra She'efilu Shenichim Tachat Amita. Now, it's exactly the same exact machloket, Rabbatai, that we had in the last brayta, but we just changed the names here. So, therefore, we see clearly that that in this brayta, that the one that differentiates between bein lefnei mitah and la'achar mitah is, he says, what does he say? Koreh miyad, and lefnei mitah machik 4 amot. So we see the answer to our question. But the problem is that we have a problem in the braytot. The braytot now don't fit one with the other. So the Gemara says, Bayan if shitala. Our safek of what the shita is answered. But matniyata kashir hadadi. Freezing. But, yeah. You woke us up, thank you, by the way. You made us crisp. But now we're freezing. But the braytot are stirot. So the Gemara says, Epuch batrayta. Turn around the last one. Which means, make Rabbi Shimon Gamliel change his name with Rabbi Shimon Elazar in the last brayta. Okay? So the Gemara says, My chazad da'apet batrayta epuch kamaita. Why did you turn around the last one? Why don't you turn around the names of the first one? So he says, because man shamat le'damar kuli bayit ka'arba amot dami. Where do we find, who's the one that always tells us that it's ka'arba amot dami? Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar, it's always Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar. Where? You know what Rashi says? Where? Rashi says that he doesn't know. Lo yadati heichadi. He has no idea where that is. Others bring a Tosefta and Eruvin. Okay? That's where Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar says this halacha. Amar Rav Yosef, Ba'im Minei, Rav Huna, Mita pachot mishlosha. Let's say you have a bed that's less than 3 tvachim. The legs are less than 3 tvachim off the ground. Pshitali de kalavadam. There's a rule called lavud. Lavud means anything less than 3 tvachim away from another item is considered like attached. So if the bed is less than 3 away from the ground, it's like it's on the ground. And therefore, if there is a chamber pot underneath, they're considered totally covered, and you're allowed to say Kriyat Shema Kenegda. But shlosha, arba'ah, chamisha, shisha, shiva, shmona, tisha, which is not lafaz mahu. What is that halacha? You have the grab sharei underneath the bed. What is the issue? What is the halacha? Amar lei lo yadan, I don't know. Asara vada lo mibayim. I have no question. Because since it's such a great separation between the bed and the ground, the bed is not considered like a covering over the chamber pot. It will be asur. Amar Abaye shapi avada lo yibayim. It's good you didn't ask us about 10. Because kol asara reshut achrit. Because anything that's 10 above the ground is considered a totally different domain. And therefore, it cannot be considered as a covered anything under it. Amar Rav Hilchata, pachot mishlosha kalav v'dami, and it's for sure okay. Asara reshut achriti, and it's not okay. Mishlosha dasara, haimi debami, that was our question. Rav Yosef Meravuna v'lo pashalei, and he didn't tell him the answer. So we don't know. Amar Rav Aloch Rav Shimon Elazar, and the Aloch is like Rav Shimon Elazar. It said that the entire home is considered 4 amot. You can't say Kriyat Shema unless you remove it. V'chein Amar Bali Amar Rav Yaakov Barad Bar Shmuel, Aloch Rav Shimon Elazar, v'Rav Amar Ein Aloch Rav Shimon Elazar. Okay. Rav Achai Yasef Lebrei. Rav Achai made a shidduch for his son, Bei Rav Yitzchak Bar Shmuel Bar Marta, with the daughter of Rav Yitzchak, the son of Shmuel, the son of Marta. Remember who he was? He was the great. That was. Yeah. Either the chuppah. So Rav Chai brought his son to the chuppah, but he was not able to be bo'el biat mitzvah. Azabatrei la'ayunei. So Rav Chai went into the room there to check out the matter. Chazas Sefer Torah de Mancha. He wasn't able to do the biyah. And so Rav Achai entered and he saw a Sefer Torah that was in the room. Amalahu. So he told the people that set up the room, if I would not have come now, you would have endangered my son to die with the sin of performing tashmish in a room that has Sefer Torah. The Tanya Bayit Sheyesh Sefer Torah. Or Tefillin asur l'shamesh b'ot hamita ad sheyotzim, or sheyelichem kli b'toch kli. So it's lucky that I came. Amar Abaye lo shanu, elo b'kli she'en kilyan. Elo b'kli she'u kilyan, if it's a keli that's made for them, afilu asara mani kechad mani dani. Even if it's 10 bags, but they're all made for the Tefillin or the Sefer Torah, they're only considered one casing, and therefore you'll have to place an 11th one on top of them to be considered 2 casings. Amar Rava, one more halacha, glima. Glima is like a cloak, a kanakra, on top of a chest, a bookshelf. A kli betoch kli dami is considered like a keli inside another keli. Why? Because the cloak is not miyuchad for tzvarim. And since it's placed above them, so it's a very nice covering, and therefore one cover is enough. Which means when are 2 covers needed? We said before. No, you really always need 2 covers. But you have 2 covers. One of the 2 covers by the Argaz Shel Tzarim.
So that's the cloak.
Is the Argaz itself is one, right? Yeah, we'll see this tomorrow, B'ezrat Hashem.